The stars of the Zarathis Prime system twinkled coldly, distant and indifferent. For most of the galaxy's civilizations, this system was just another cluster of planets orbiting a dying star. Nothing special, nothing worth risking a fleet over. But today, everything was about to change. From the void of space, a human fleet appeared, modest in size but moving with purpose. Their ships were not the largest, nor the most technologically advanced in the sector. But they had something the galaxy had long forgotten: determination. Aliens from nearby systems had already noticed them. They whispered among themselves, thinking humans were insignificant, primitive, emotional, and fragile. "Look at them," a Zephyrian officer sneered, his elongated fingers tapping on the command console. "They barely have armor capable of stopping a plasma shot. They are nothing." His superior, an older Zephyrian with ridges of gray running along his head, shrugged. "Perhaps. But humans always surprise. Still, I doubt they will last more than a few days on Zarathis Prime." The humans themselves were unaware of the whispers and doubts. They were focused on the planet below, a harsh world of jagged rocks, poisonous winds, and storms that could shred metal. The landing zone they had chosen was a flat valley, seemingly empty, but full of subtle dangers. Captain Alara Miles, commander of the expedition, looked down from the bridge of her ship, Resolute Dawn. Her eyes were calm, but her mind was alert. "Prepare the landing teams," she ordered. "We move in 20 minutes. Stick to protocol, but remember, we adapt. The environment is ours to study and use, not fear." Her crew nodded. Humans were trained to think, to improvise, to survive. The aliens underestimated them because they had never seen humans face danger calmly, and with minds ready to turn obstacles into tools. As the landing crafts descended, the alien observers on orbital satellites tried to hide their amusement. "Primitive creatures barely capable of thinking beyond basic survival," said a Myraxian analyst, its many eyes narrowing. "They will fail," but the humans didn't rush. They moved methodically, scanning the terrain with sensors, marking unstable rocks, noting pockets of toxic gas, and identifying safe pathways. Even under alien scrutiny, they worked with calm precision, as if the hostile world were just another problem to solve. The first humans touched the ground. Their boots sank slightly into the red-brown soil. A wind blew fiercely across the valley, carrying fine, sharp dust. Most species would have panicked, struggling to protect their bodies and equipment. Humans? They adjusted their suits, raised shields, and continued forward. Private Jace Armand, a young soldier on his first mission, grinned beneath his visor. "Feels like home," he muttered to his teammate, Lieutenant Nina Rourke. Nina laughed softly. "If your idea of home is a rock field with poisonous air and killer winds, sure." Their humor, light but unbroken, was a signature of humanity. No matter how dangerous the world, humans found a way to continue with purpose and even a spark of joy. The aliens on Zarathis Prime's orbital stations grew uneasy. Observing humans was supposed to be easy. They were supposed to panic, falter, or fail. But the humans adapted almost immediately. They deployed small drones to test the wind currents and measure the planet's natural hazards. They used grappling hooks to secure themselves across cliffs. They moved in patterns no alien scout had predicted. "Do you see that?" one Valian officer hissed. "They are adapting, adjusting their methods faster than our calculations. This shouldn't be possible for a species like that." "Keep observing," the commander ordered, his many-limbed form tense. "We will see how long it lasts." Meanwhile, Captain Alara and her team had begun establishing a forward base. They had no intention of fighting the predators rumored to stalk this planet, but they knew to expect them. Humans, unlike many other species, never relied solely on strength. They relied on thinking, predicting, and reacting. Where the predators of Zarathis Prime moved by instinct, the humans moved by intelligence, and that was their greatest weapon. Hours passed, and the first signs of danger appeared. A low, rumbling growl echoed across the valley. Shadows twisted between rocks, and the wind carried a scent sharp enough to make humans flinch. For a moment, the team froze, but Captain Alara's voice cut through the tension. "Positions. Observe, analyze, respond." The humans spread out, scanning the shadows. From behind a jagged boulder, a creature emerged. Its form was massive, with claws that could shred steel and eyes that glowed like molten metal. It was one of Zarathis Prime's apex predators. The aliens watching from above laughed quietly. They will not last 10 minutes, but the humans did not panic. Private Jace raised a small energy net, a device meant more for trapping than harming. It fired and the creature lunged, only to find itself entangled, struggling against the unexpected trap. The humans worked together, moving as a single unit, adapting their strategy as the creature reacted. Lieutenant Nina adjusted the angle of a reflector, shining the harsh sunlight into the creature's eyes, confusing it further. Captain Alara directed 2 more soldiers to flank, forcing the predator to retreat. Within moments, the humans had neutralized a danger that should have been lethal. In orbit, the aliens grew silent. Not one of them had predicted this. Their sensors, their calculations, their centuries of experience, none had accounted for humans' ability to improvise under pressure. They're different, the Myraxian analyst admitted, its voice trembling. Not weak, not fragile. They thrive in danger. Prepare to report, said the Zephyrian commander, but do so quietly. We don't want panic spreading across the fleets. Humans, oblivious to the whispers, continued their work. They set up sensors to study the local wildlife, noting patterns in the predator's movements. They mapped safe zones and escape routes, and despite the tension, they joked and laughed, their camaraderie unshaken. By the end of the first day, the humans had achieved more than any alien observer expected. They had survived the landing, established a base, and neutralized the planet's first real threat. And all without a single death. That night, as the twin moons of Zarathus Prime rose over the jagged horizon, Captain Alara looked out from the ridge overlooking their camp. Her crew rested, tending to their equipment and sharing stories. The humans were tired, but their eyes shone with purpose and curiosity. They think we are fragile, she murmured to herself. They think this world will break us. But we have only just begun. The winds howled across the valley, carrying the distant roars of predators. Somewhere, the galaxy was watching, expecting humans to fail. Somewhere, civilizations laughed at what they thought was an insignificant species. They would not be laughing for long. Captain Alara's hand rested on the railing of the observation deck. Prepare for tomorrow, she said quietly. We learn, we adapt, and we survive. Humanity doesn't run from danger. We turn it into opportunity. That is who we are. And below, the humans slept, resting but ready. The galaxy had not yet seen what humanity could do, but soon, very soon it would. The morning sun of Zarathus Prime burned through the jagged clouds, casting long shadows across the rocky valley. For the humans, it was another day, but for the alien observers hidden in orbit, it was a day of anticipation. Every human move was being watched, analyzed, and underestimated. Captain Alara Miles gathered her team near the forward base. Their first day had been successful, but today she knew would be harder. The predators of Zarathus Prime were clever. The environment itself seemed to challenge them. But humans thrived under such pressure. Listen carefully, Alara said, pointing to a holographic map projected in the middle of their team. There is a predator sector to the west. Sensors detect movement, large, fast, and intelligent. It could be hunting, or it could be testing us. Either way, we need a plan. Lieutenant Nina Rourke nodded. We stick to our training. Watch, adapt, respond. We don't panic. We turn danger into advantage. Private Jace Armand, still grinning despite the cold and rough terrain, added, I don't know about advantage, but it sounds like fun. His humor lifted the team's spirits as it always did. Humans had a way of facing fear with courage and sometimes laughter. The humans moved out, cautious but steady, their boots crunching on the red-brown soil. Drones hovered above, scanning for movement, while sensors tracked vibrations in the rocks and winds. Every step was measured, every sound noted. The predators of Zarathus Prime were rumored to be relentless and intelligent, and humans had no intention of being caught off guard. Hours passed with only minor encounters, small creatures darting between rocks, harmless but alert, as if the planet itself was testing their focus. The humans adapted, improvising traps for these small predators, learning the terrain and its quirks. Every encounter, even minor, was a lesson in survival. Then the real challenge arrived. A deep, resonant growl echoed across the valley, shaking the ground beneath their feet. The sensors went wild. The predator was massive, far larger than the first one they had faced. Its body was armored with thick plates, its claws capable of tearing through metal. Its eyes glowed a bright, fiery orange. The humans froze for a moment, not out of fear, but to assess. Alara signaled silently, and the team spread out into strategic positions. Humans did not rush blindly into danger. They observed, calculated and adapted, an instinct that many alien species could not comprehend. The predator stalked closer, its massive legs moving silently across the jagged terrain. It was intelligent, anticipating human movements, reacting faster than the sensors could track. Every alien watching from orbit held their breath, expecting humans to fail. But the humans were ready. "Deploy the nets," Ilara ordered. "Don't aim to kill. Control it, study it, survive." Private Jace fired the first net. It spiraled through the air, but the predator ducked with surprising speed. It lunged at a sensor drone, smashing it into pieces. Sparks flew. The humans reacted immediately, adjusting their strategy. Lieutenant Nina activated a reflective panel, bouncing sunlight into the predator's eyes. It recoiled, momentarily confused. Ilara signaled 2 other soldiers to flank from the higher rocks. Using ropes and grappling hooks, they maneuvered silently, herding the predator toward the trap zones. Every human moved as if part of a single mind, reacting to each shift, each movement. The predator roared, a sound that shook the valley, and lunged toward Private Jace. But Jace rolled to the side, firing another net, which tangled around one of the predator's legs. The massive creature struggled, thrashing against the unexpected restraint. Above, the alien observers were stunned. "Impossible," whispered a Zephyrian commander. "It shouldn't be surviving. It shouldn't be adapting this quickly." "They're not just surviving," said the Myraxian analyst, voice trembling. "They are controlling the situation. They are thriving." The predator was intelligent, but humans were unpredictable. Every time it reacted, the humans countered with something it had not anticipated. They moved with creativity and daring, combining technology with instinct, improvising tactics in real time. Captain Ilara saw an opening. She raised her hand, signaling her team. The predator roared and charged again, and the humans executed a perfect maneuver. 2 soldiers drew it toward a narrow canyon while another triggered a sound decoy, mimicking the predator's own communication signals. Confused, the predator stumbled into the canyon, where the humans had set up their final trap. Ropes, nets, and environmental hazards worked together, pinning the massive creature without causing it serious harm. The humans approached cautiously, studying it as much as controlling it. Their respect for life, even dangerous life, was a mark of their intelligence and adaptability. For the first time, the alien observers whispered, not in mockery, but in fear. "They don't just fight," said one. "They think. They learn faster than any species I have ever seen." The humans spent hours documenting the predator's behavior. They noted its strengths, weaknesses, and patterns. They learned from the encounter, and by nightfall, the creature was released safely back into the wild, unharmed but aware that humans could match it in cunning. Exhausted but victorious, the team returned to their forward base. They shared stories of the encounter, laughing at close calls, discussing mistakes and lessons learned. The humor and camaraderie were as important as their skill. It was what kept humans calm under pressure, what allowed them to adapt so quickly. Captain Ilara stood overlooking the valley as the twin moons rose, casting pale light over the jagged rocks. "They expected us to fail," she said quietly, almost to herself. "They expected panic. They expected fear. But we don't stop. We adapt, we survive, and we learn." Lieutenant Nina joined her. "They'll come again," she said. "Something bigger, something faster. But we'll be ready. That's what we do," Ilara nodded. "Yes. And one day they will understand that no species, no matter how advanced, can predict what humans will do under pressure. Not completely. Not ever." In orbit, the aliens began sending reports to their fleets. Every sensor reading, every movement of the humans was documented with disbelief. "They are unpredictable," the Myraxian analyst wrote. "They survive where others would die. They thrive in chaos. We have never seen a species like this." The Zephyrian commander frowned, pacing in front of the viewing console. "They are dangerous," he said finally. "We cannot underestimate them, not now. Not ever." Back on the ground, the humans were unaware of the growing fear among the galaxy's most powerful species. They rested, repaired their equipment, and prepared for the next challenge. Their success was not in brute strength, but in courage, intelligence, and adaptability. Private Jace looked out toward the horizon, where shadows shifted under the alien moons. "Do you think they'll send something worse?" he asked Nina. She smiled, checking her weapons and sensors. "If they do, we'll adapt again. That's what humans do. Captain Alara's voice carried over the comms. Rest well tonight. Tomorrow we face whatever comes next. We don't run, we don't fear, we learn, and we survive always. And somewhere far above in the silent void of space, the alien fleets began to reconsider everything they thought they knew about humanity. Because for humans, survival was not just instinct. It was strategy, it was courage, and above all it was adaptability. The galaxy had underestimated them once. It would not underestimate them again. The dawn on Zarathus Prime broke slowly, the pale light filtering through jagged clouds. The humans were awake early as usual, checking sensors and repairing equipment after yesterday's encounter. But this morning, there was a tension in the air, a different kind of danger. From orbit, massive fleets of alien warships approached the planet. Their movements were precise, synchronized, and intimidating. Hundreds of vessels, bristling with weapons, cut through the darkness of space like a predator closing in on its prey. The human sensors picked them up immediately. Captain Alara Miles stood on the ridge overlooking the forward base. Her brow furrowed, not in fear but in thought. "They're here," she said quietly. "They've come to test us. Not just the planet, but us." Lieutenant Nina Rourke checked the readings. "They're bigger than anything we expected. We can't fight them directly. Not with weapons alone." "Then we won't," Alara replied.
"We'll fight smart.
"We'll use the terrain. We'll adapt. We'll survive. And we'll make them regret underestimating us." The alien fleets began landing forces in multiple zones around the valley. Drop pods plummeted from orbit, carrying armored soldiers and strange machines designed to hunt and destroy. The aliens believed this would be a quick victory. They had overwhelming numbers and superior technology. The humans were outmatched in a straight fight. But humans did not fight straight. The team spread out, setting up traps and barriers using the natural terrain. Caves, cliffs, and ravines became part of their strategy. Energy nets, reflective panels, and improvised explosives were positioned in key choke points. Humans were masters of turning disadvantages into tools. Private Jace Armand laughed quietly as he checked one of the traps. "They think we'll run," he said. "They don't know humans," Nina smiled. "They will learn soon enough." The first alien forces moved in. Large, armored figures with energy rifles and protective shields advanced carefully, scanning the ground for threats. They expected easy prey. What they found instead was humans moving unpredictably, using the rocks, dust storms, and shadows to their advantage. The humans struck with precision. Small teams emerged from hiding, disabling vehicles with well-aimed energy nets or collapsing rock formations onto advancing soldiers. Smoke, mirrors, and reflections confused the aliens, while human sharpshooters targeted weak points in armor. Every strike was calculated and every retreat was part of a larger plan. Above, alien commanders watched in disbelief. "They should be falling," one hissed. "They should be dead by now. How do they move like that?" "They don't just fight," another admitted. "They think. They adapt. They use the environment itself as a weapon." Captain Alara moved swiftly across the battlefield, coordinating her team. She directed soldiers to use high cliffs for ambushes, to trigger rock slides at the right moment, and to herd enemy soldiers into traps. Humans were small in number, but their ingenuity made them feel enormous. A massive alien war machine, designed to crush anything in its path, rolled into the valley. Its armor glinted in the sunlight, and its weapons bristled with lethal intent. Most species would have panicked. Most would have run, but humans. They smiled. Lieutenant Nina signaled her team. Using energy nets, magnetic fields, and carefully timed explosives, they slowed the machine. Private Jace and two others used ropes to climb nearby cliffs and target weak points. The alien war machine staggered and groaned under the unexpected pressure, malfunctioning under human improvisation. Captain Alara watched as her team adapted in real time, turning chaos into opportunity. Every alien move was countered by human creativity. Every attack met a response that the aliens had never calculated. Meanwhile, orbital alien ships tried to intervene. They fired from above, aiming to destroy the humans' positions. But humans were ready. Smoke screens, mirrors, and fast maneuvers allowed them to avoid destruction. Where the aliens thought speed and firepower were enough, humans added unpredictability and cunning. Hours passed, and the battle grew more intense. The valley became a maze of traps, ambush points, and clever diversions. The aliens, despite superior numbers, were confused and frustrated. They could not predict human behavior. Every time they thought they had a strategy, humans adapted, shifted tactics, and turned the battlefield against them. Captain Alara paused on a ridge, looking down at the chaos below. Her voice was calm but firm. "Remember," she said into the comms, "we survive by thinking. We survive by adapting. We survive by turning their strength into weakness." The aliens were learning that humans were not just resilient, they were unpredictable. A small human team could disable a large alien unit, forcing the enemies to split forces and react to constant surprises. The humans worked in harmony, each person understanding the battlefield, each person supporting the other. Private Jace shouted from below, dodging energy blasts. "They think they're hunting us." "They're wrong." He triggered a trap that released a net of energy wires, short-circuiting several alien machines. The aliens roared in frustration. Lieutenant Nina directed a small team to flank an alien squad. Using the shadows and terrain, they immobilized the squad without firing a single shot. Every move was deliberate, every action part of a strategy designed not just to survive, but to dominate the encounter despite being outnumbered. By midday, the alien forces were beginning to retreat, regrouping to rethink their strategy. Their numbers were superior, their weapons more powerful. But humans had something no calculation could predict: ingenuity, adaptability, and fearlessness. Above, alien commanders were forced to admit the truth they had long ignored. "This species," said one, voice trembling, "is unlike any we have faced. They survive against impossible odds. They adapt faster than we can analyze. They are terrifying." Captain Alara watched the retreating aliens, her eyes sharp but calm. "We haven't won yet," she reminded her team. "But we've shown them who we are. They expected easy prey. They found humans. And humans are never easy." Private Jace laughed, wiping sweat from his brow. "They'll remember this one for sure." Lieutenant Nina shook her head, smiling. "They'll remember it, yes. But they won't understand us yet. They never will. That's the point." As the sun set over the jagged valley, the humans began repairing their equipment and setting new defenses. They had survived the first wave of alien assault, but they knew it would not be the last. The galaxy was watching, learning, and beginning to fear what humans could do when pushed to the edge. Captain Alara looked over her team, proud but focused. "We've faced the impossible today," she said. "But this is just the beginning. The galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. It's time they learned the truth. No matter how advanced, no matter how many, no nightmare compares to humanity unleashed." The humans rested for the night, but their minds were alert. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new tests of ingenuity and courage. And they would meet them as they always did, with creativity, bravery, and the unshakable spirit of humanity. Somewhere in orbit, alien commanders continued to report to their fleets. "We have never faced a species like this," said one. "They are not merely surviving, they are thriving. We must reconsider everything. We must prepare. And we must hope we are not too late." Back on the ground, Captain Alara stood alone for a moment, gazing at the horizon. "They think they know what humans are," she whispered. "They are about to learn. And when they do, the galaxy will never be the same." The valley was quiet now, but the tension lingered. For humans, this quiet was not fear. It was the calm before the next storm, the moment to prepare for what came next. And humans were always ready, because humans did not just survive. Humans adapted. Humans learned. And above all, humans never gave up. The galaxy would soon understand. But not today. Today, humanity had shown just a glimpse of its power, and it was more than enough to leave the universe in awe. The twin moons of Zarathus Prime hung low in the sky, casting silver light over the jagged valley. The humans were awake, as always, preparing for another day of survival and exploration. But today was different. Today they would not only face the challenges of the planet, they would begin to reveal themselves to the galaxy in a way no one could have predicted. Captain Alara Miles gathered her team around the holographic map. The alien fleets had retreated temporarily after the last confrontation, but sensors indicated they were reorganizing. "They're not gone," she said. "They're learning. They're observing. And they'll come back bigger and stronger. We must be ready." Lieutenant Nina Rourke nodded. "We have the advantage for now. They've seen what we can do in the valley, but they don't understand us. That's our strength." Private Jace Armand stretched and yawned. I like it when they don't understand us, makes life more interesting. Ilara allowed herself a small smile. Interesting, yes, but dangerous too. We must be vigilant. Every move we make will be watched. Every action will be studied. And we need to make sure that when they watch, they learn only what we want them to see. The humans began scouting the surrounding regions, moving cautiously but with purpose. Their sensors picked up signs of alien movement. Small reconnaissance teams probing the planet, testing defenses and trying to understand human tactics. But the humans were ready. A small team, led by Lieutenant Nina, set up an ambush in a narrow canyon. Using sound mirrors, reflective panels, and smoke from controlled fires, they created illusions of larger forces than actually existed. The alien scouts, seeing shadows and movement where there were none, advanced cautiously. When the humans struck, it was precise and efficient. Energy nets immobilized the first wave, while traps forced others to retreat or become confused. The humans did not aim to destroy indiscriminately. They aimed to teach lessons, to shape perception. Captain Ilara observed from a ridge above. "Notice how they react," she said. "We're teaching them that humans cannot be predicted. That's more powerful than any weapon." Meanwhile, an alien observer had embedded itself near the human team, disguised and hiding. It had been tasked with understanding humans from the ground. What it saw shocked it. Humans moved with coordination, but coordination alone did not explain their success. They adapted constantly. When a trap failed, they improvised another instantly. When an alien moved unpredictably, humans turned it to their advantage. Every encounter was a learning experience, and humans adjusted in real time. They are unlike any species I have ever studied, the observer thought. They are not just resilient, they are intelligent in ways we cannot calculate. They adapt faster than our sensors can track, and they seem to thrive under pressure, even chaos. Back at the forward base, Captain Ilara convened her team. "They'll send stronger forces next," she said. "But we've learned from them as much as they've learned from us. Observation is a two-way street. They think they understand, but we understand too. And that understanding gives us power." Private Jace grinned. "So we're teaching them lessons now?" "I like it." Lieutenant Nina chuckled. "Lessons they won't forget." The alien fleets began moving again, but this time, the humans were ready. They had mapped ambush points, improvised traps, and identified strategic high ground. Every element of the valley was now part of a defensive network. But more importantly, humans had learned the patterns of their enemies. They knew the strengths, weaknesses, and predictabilities of the alien forces. When the aliens descended, expecting to dominate, they found chaos instead. Their numerical advantage counted for little against the humans' ingenuity. Vehicles became immobilized in traps, squads were funneled into narrow passages, and sound and light illusions made it seem like human forces were everywhere at once. Above the battlefield, alien commanders grew frantic. "How can this be happening?" one shouted. "They should not be surviving. Their numbers are too small." "They are not just surviving," admitted another, voice trembling. "They are controlling the battle. They are turning our strengths into weaknesses. They are terrifying." Captain Ilara moved swiftly across the battlefield, coordinating her team with calm authority. "Remember," she said into her comms, "we do not fight to destroy. We fight to survive and to adapt. Every mistake they make is an opportunity. Every action we take teaches them a lesson they cannot fully understand." The humans' adaptability was on full display. A large alien vehicle advanced, firing indiscriminately. Humans had no weapons that could match its power directly, but they used the terrain, collapsing rocks onto its path, creating energy nets to tangle its wheels, and using reflective surfaces to redirect its energy blasts. Within moments, the alien machine was immobilized, forced to retreat under human pressure. The embedded alien observer recorded everything in disbelief. "They do not rely on strength alone," it thought. "They rely on creativity, courage, and cooperation. Their minds are as lethal as their weapons, and they understand the battlefield in ways we cannot predict." By midday, the alien forces were forced to retreat. Their scouts had been defeated, their machines disabled, and their confidence shaken. They had not anticipated that a small human team could manipulate the environment so effectively, outthink them, and control the pace of battle. Back at the forward base, the humans celebrated quietly, not with arrogance but with satisfaction. They had survived. They had learned. They had taught their enemies lessons without causing unnecessary destruction. That was the essence of humanity's power: adaptability, intelligence, and courage. Captain Alara addressed her team. Today we have not only survived, we have revealed ourselves. The galaxy is beginning to see the truth. They see that humans cannot be predicted. They see that humans adapt and overcome. And soon, they will understand the full measure of what we can do. Lieutenant Nina added, "They may underestimate us at first, that will be their mistake, and it will cost them when they next face us." Private Jace smiled. "I like it when they don't know what we're going to do next. Makes life exciting." The alien observer watched from its hiding place, recording everything. "This species is extraordinary," it wrote in its logs. "Their adaptability, intelligence, and courage are beyond calculation. They do not merely survive. They dominate the battlefield without brute force. They are a nightmare that no weapon can fully defeat, and the galaxy has yet to realize the danger they represent." That night, under the light of the twin moons, the humans rested. Their equipment was repaired, traps were reset, and strategies were discussed for the coming days. Every member of the team understood the pattern of survival: observe, adapt, respond, and learn. It was more than training. It was instinct, hardwired and honed by experience. Captain Alara looked out over the valley, her eyes thoughtful. "They thought they could test us," she said softly. "They thought they could predict our actions, but humans are unpredictable, and that is our greatest strength." Lieutenant Nina joined her. "They will try again," she said. "Stronger, faster, smarter. But we will be ready." Alara nodded. "Yes, and when they return they will see something they cannot forget. They will see the truth. Humans are not just another species. Humans are unstoppable when pushed to their limits." In orbit, alien commanders sent reports to their fleets. Every movement of the humans, every tactic, every success was documented with fear and astonishment. "They are unpredictable," one admitted. "They adapt faster than our calculations can follow. They thrive in chaos, and they learn from everything we do. We cannot underestimate them." The embedded observer added its own note. "Humanity is more than strength, more than technology. Their courage, creativity, and adaptability make them a force that cannot be defeated by conventional means. They are the nightmare that no civilization has faced before, and when the galaxy finally understands, it will never be the same." Back on the planet, Captain Alara turned to her team. "We have survived, we have adapted, and we have taught lessons. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but remember this: we do not fear, we do not retreat. We are humans, and no nightmare, no matter how powerful, can stop us." The humans rested beneath the moons, but their minds were alert. They knew that every action, every lesson, and every challenge was shaping the galaxy's perception of humanity, and they were ready. Because humans did not just survive. Humans adapted, humans learned, and the galaxy was only beginning to see the truth. By the next day, whispers would spread across distant civilizations. Stories of the humans' ingenuity, courage, and unpredictable tactics would reach far and wide. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, the leaders of the alien fleets would begin to realize the terrifying truth: no nightmare could compare to humanity unleashed. The morning sun rose over Zarathus Prime, painting the jagged valley in pale gold. The air was sharp, and the winds carried the distant roars of predators as if the planet itself was watching. But for the humans, the valley felt familiar now, a place of challenge, opportunity, and triumph. Captain Alara Miles stood on a ridge overlooking the base. She surveyed her team as they checked equipment, repaired vehicles, and prepared for the day ahead. Yesterday had been intense, and the galaxy had taken notice. The alien fleets had retreated not out of defeat but out of caution, realizing that humans could not be easily predicted or defeated. "They won't stop coming," Lieutenant Nina Rourke said, joining Alara. "They'll return with bigger fleets, faster weapons, smarter strategies. But we've learned. We've adapted. And we'll be ready." Alara nodded. "Yes, the galaxy thinks it understands humans. They think they can measure us with numbers and weapons. But they can't. Not completely. Not ever. And that is our advantage." The humans moved out to scout the surrounding terrain, knowing the alien forces could strike at any moment. Their small team spread across the valley, observing, analyzing, and setting new traps. Every move was deliberate, every action part of a larger plan. Private Jace Arman grinned as he checked a new net trap. "They'll never see this coming." "I love it," Lieutenant Nina smiled. "That's the point. Humans are unpredictable. That's what makes us dangerous." As the day progressed, the first signs of the alien approach appeared. Distant shadows moved across the valley, followed by the unmistakable hum of alien ships. This time the attack was larger than ever. Fleets and squads descended with precision, expecting humans to be overwhelmed by sheer numbers. But humans had turned the battlefield into their advantage. Cliffs, ravines, and narrow canyons had become strategic points. Traps, both mechanical and electronic, had been carefully positioned. Smokescreens and reflective panels created illusions of human forces far greater than reality. When the first alien squads landed, they were met not by panic, but by controlled chaos. Small teams of humans emerged from hidden positions, disabling machines with energy nets and collapsing rocks onto advancing soldiers. Sound illusions made it seem like humans were everywhere at once. Every move was calculated, but the aliens could not predict it. Captain Alara moved swiftly among her teams, coordinating attacks and setting ambushes. She did not fight directly, but she guided her people with calm authority. Every human knew their role, every person understood the pattern: observe, adapt, respond, survive. The aliens were shocked. They had studied humans, thought they understood their behavior, and expected easy prey. Instead, they found a species that turned every disadvantage into strength, every attack into an opportunity. A massive alien war machine advanced, its armor gleaming under the twin suns. It fired indiscriminately, crushing rocks and small trees. Most species would have retreated. Most would have panicked, but humans were ready. Using a combination of energy nets, magnetic pulses, and precise explosives, they immobilized the war machine. Soldiers scaled cliffs to target weak points, while traps on the ground hindered its movement. Within minutes, the machine was neutralized, forced to retreat under constant human pressure. The alien observers, both on the ground and in orbit, could not believe what they were seeing. "It is impossible," one whispered. "A small number of humans is controlling the battlefield. They are turning our strengths into weaknesses. They are terrifying." Captain Ilara watched the chaos below with a calm expression. "They expected us to fail," she said into her comms. "They expected fear. They found humans, and humans do not fear." Hours passed, and the aliens began to retreat. Their forces had been damaged, their confidence shaken, and their perception of humans transformed. They had seen firsthand that humans were not only resilient, they were intelligent, adaptable, and fearless. Back at the forward base, the humans regrouped. They had survived the largest attack yet, but more importantly, they had sent a clear message. Humans could not be predicted. Humans could not be destroyed by conventional means. Humans thrived where others feared to tread. Lieutenant Nina addressed the team. "Today we've shown them something they will not forget. They underestimated us, and that is their mistake. The galaxy now knows humans are not to be ignored." Private Jace grinned. "I think they've learned their lesson." Captain Alara nodded. "Yes, and the galaxy will remember. Not just our strength, but our spirit, our courage, and our ingenuity. That is humanity's true power." As the humans rested, repairing equipment and sharing stories, the alien observers recorded every detail. Their reports were filled with astonishment and fear. "This species," wrote one Myraxian analyst, "is unlike any we have encountered. Their adaptability, intelligence, and courage make them a threat that cannot be defeated with numbers or technology alone. They are a nightmare that no civilization has faced before." In orbit, alien commanders convened. Their fleets were intact, but their confidence was shattered. "We have underestimated humans," admitted one. "They are not simply survivors. They are strategists, learners, and innovators. They turn disadvantage into power." We must rethink everything. Back on the planet, Captain Alara watched her team under the twin moons. She felt pride, not for victory, but for what humans had proven, that survival alone was not enough. Humans adapted, they learned, and they inspired awe in friend and foe alike. They think they understand us, she said quietly, but they do not, and they never will. Lieutenant Nina joined her. Tomorrow they may return, stronger, faster, smarter, but we will be ready. That is what humans do. The humans slept under the watchful moons, but their minds were alert. Every encounter had been a lesson. Every challenge had been a test. And humanity had passed not just with survival, but with excellence. The galaxy began to whisper about humanity. Stories of courage, ingenuity, and adaptability spread from planet to planet, fleet to fleet. Aliens who once dismissed humans as weak now reconsidered everything. Across systems, they shared one simple warning: underestimate humans at your peril. Captain Alara stood alone on a ridge, gazing at the horizon. We've shown the galaxy who we are, she said softly. We do not run from danger. We do not bow to threats. We adapt, we survive. We learn, and we prevail. The alien fleets would eventually return, but the humans had proven one undeniable truth. No matter how advanced, how powerful, or how frightening a species might seem, nothing could match the unpredictable, indomitable spirit of humanity. The humans had survived the impossible, faced overwhelming odds, and emerged stronger and wiser. And the galaxy had learned the hard truth. No nightmare, no matter how terrifying, no force, no matter how mighty, could ever compare to humanity unleashed. Captain Alara turned back toward her team, a calm smile on her face. We've survived. We've learned. And now the galaxy knows. Humanity is not to be underestimated. Humanity is unstoppable when pushed to the edge. And as the twin moons cast their silver glow over the jagged valley, the humans prepared for whatever came next, ready to face every challenge with courage, intelligence, and the unwavering spirit that made them truly extraordinary. Because humans did not just survive. Humans adapted. Humans conquered the impossible, and the galaxy would never forget the day it first witnessed humanity unleashed.